Here are 5 NBA players with the most to prove for this upcoming NBA season. Starting with the player I feel who got the most to prove, Paul George. Just before he was traded to the Clippers from OKC, he was having an MVP caliber year, in part to thanks to Russell Westbrook, who took a step back that year and kind of let Paul George shine out. And when he arrived at the Clippers, he just wasn't the same player from that year or prior. It's kind of a shame that even after Paul George's career year, in his final year in OKC, that's not what people are going to remember him for. They're going to remember Dame Lillard hitting that logo 3 essentially in his face to win the game. And with more recent events, just bricking a shot off the backboard from 3. Whether Paul George wanted to blame injuries or blame his coach, this is the must-win season for the Clippers and Paul George. They recently signed him to an extension, and Kawhi has yet to sign. He has a player option for next year. He could pick that up and walk and leave Paul George in the dust and find a better teammate to play with. He doesn't have to be that MVP caliber player that he was in his final year of OKC. He just has to be better than whatever it was he was last season. Whether if that's the media saying the Clippers lack leadership or not, something has to change with the Clippers, and it starts with Paul George to be better fit at helping Kawhi. Followed by John Wall, who has missed the entirety seasons now, and even before that, in the last season he played, he got hurt. So we haven't been able to see how great John Wall has been for quite some time, and this is his redemption arc to see if he could get to that all-star level that he once was and be put in that conversation once again of being a top point guard in the league. Because back in the day, there was debates. Who would you rather have? John Wall, Russell Westbrook, Derrick Rose? So, yeah, it's funny how things have turned out. Wall and Westbrook got traded for each other, and this is definitely a prove-it year for John Wall to stay healthy and be able to remind people to do the John Wall. That's crazy, the hype around John Wall, and I really do hope he gets healthy again. What adds an extra dynamic is that apparently James Harden doesn't want to be in Houston, so who knows if James Harden starts with the Rockets or gets traded mid-season. It would definitely affect how John Wall plays and the rest of the team does as well. But let's stick with the Rockets and talk about his Rocket teammate, DeMarcus Cousins, who is in a similar situation to John Wall. Just like Wall was one of the top point guards in the league for a while, DeMarcus Cousins was the best center in the NBA for quite some time with the Sacramento Kings. Then getting traded to the New Orleans Pelicans, he looked to continue that rampage, but ultimately tore his Achilles. Nobody offered him a contract, which was crazy, so he signed a prove-it deal with the Golden State Warriors to prove he could come back healthy and be the same DeMarcus Cousins that he was. Unfortunately, when they counted on him the most, he injured his hamstring and then signed with the Lakers the following year, but then tore his ACL. So he's had a whole bunch of injuries just pile up on him, and I feel people forget how good DeMarcus Cousins was. I don't think he'll ever be that Sacramento Kings DeMarcus Cousins, but I hope he can at least get close to that, because now there are new centers like Joel Embiid, Jokic, Bam Adebayo, who have kind of taken that spot away from him and have become way more versatile. So whether that's coming off the bench behind guys like Christian Wood or even starting alongside with them, I really do hope for the best for DeMarcus Cousins and John Wall. This is like his third prove-it deal. I hope he could get it done. Also, it's cool to see John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins finally on the same team again. Next up, we have Trey Young, only in his third season. But the media and NBA fans will always be comparing Luka and Trey's career path because that's who they traded for. While they both became all-stars last year, Luka led his team towards the playoffs, and Trey Young was on the second to worst team in the East. But that's all about to change. This offseason, the Atlanta Hawks really added some firepower to go alongside Trey Young in terms of extra shooting and a whole lot of defenders to go alongside him. This is a prove-it year for Trey Young because the Atlanta Hawks have surrounded all the right players around him, and let's see if he's able to be a 30-point per night scorer on a good team rather than just one of the bad teams. I feel Trey Young could get it done and make the Atlanta Hawks reach the playoffs. It's definitely going to be a difficult task because, like I said, the second worst team in the East, and realistically they'll be anywhere from a 10th to like 7th seed. Hopefully Trey and the Atlanta Hawks could surpass my expectations of them and continue the intertwined narrative between Luka and Trey Young's career, because although they don't like it, I think it's pretty interesting to see how they've both become the players they are today and are one of the most exciting young players in the league. Last but not least, let's talk about Victor Oladipo, who got injured last year and the following year, I do believe, and just hasn't been the same Victor Oladipo that arrived in Indiana and had this emergence as an all-star. It definitely doesn't help Victor Oladipo or the Indiana Pacers that apparently he doesn't want to be there and has been talking to other teams like the New York Knicks players and the Heat that, can I play for you? Nobody really wanted to trade for him this offseason outside of the Boston Celtics, who wanted a little bit too much in Miles Turner and Victor Oladipo. The Indiana Pacers are going to be healthy this season, and if Victor Oladipo really doesn't want to be there, I think he got to raise his stock a little bit, because the prior 2 years haven't been so good for him. There's definitely been a culture shift in terms of who are the best players in the Indiana Pacers organization, because Sabonis has definitely showed out, and even to a lesser extent, Brogdon and TJ Warren. The Pacers have a lot of good players, but Victor Oladipo needs to take charge and become that all-star that he once was when he got there if they really want to take the next step forward, but I don't see it happening. I hope I'm proven wrong by Victor Oladipo. I hope the best situation happens for him. So those are 5 NBA players I feel who have the most to prove this upcoming season. Did I miss anybody? Let me know in the comment section below. Did you agree? Did you disagree? Let's talk about it. Before you go, check out some of these other videos on screen. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Thank you for watching.